The Ultimates Omnibus is a collection of the first 4 trades of the Ultimates comic book series from Marvel. The Ultimates being a reimagining of the Marvel Universe in a more modern light that spawned a number of titles such as Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate Daredevil, and Ultimate X-Men and the Ultimates. The Ultimates being a version of the Avengers. Although, just to confuse things, there is later a team called the Avengers in the Ultimates universe who are not the Avengers, but they are, because they're in the Ultimates universe and they're called the Avengers. Anyway, this centres on the creation of the team with Captain America, Thor, Giant Man, Iron Man, Wasp, Hawkeye, and Black Widow and the Hulk. This is where you get your Black Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury from. He was drawn in this book, and then that's where the films cast him from. And this is my favourite collection of Marvel stories as a whole, because I think the Ultimates 1 and 2 are some things that they've got good interpretations, if not the best interpretations of some of the characters. And they're not lumbered by any sort of real backstory. It sits well with a book I've also reviewed on this channel called Ultimate Origins, which fills in sort of where this universe got started, let's say, and where sort of mutants and super soldiers and all that come from. You've got the best version of Captain America in this book, because Captain America is an actual soldier in this, and he reacts in a way a man would react to certain situations, a man who's in war, a man with traditional values. For example, this series is known for having a particularly brutal version of the Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne domestic abuse storyline in it. It goes on for a few pages, and Captain America, who has Janet Van Dyne as a love interest in this story anyway, reacts in the way that you would expect a man with his background, etc., to react. He basically goes round to find Hank Pym and has a word with him, if you know what I mean. But he does it in a way that makes you think, yeah, you're right, Cap. And then there's another scene in this where they've got a sort of the Liberators, a sort of foreign powers version of their team. And Captain America is beating the shit out of someone, and they say, "Why don't you surrender?" And Captain America, who's got a giant A on his head in this, points at his head and goes, "Surrender? What do you think this fucking A on my head stands for? Surrender. It doesn't stand for France." Or something like that. You got to think, yeah, fair play, Cap. You couldn't put that in the films, but you know, he's got a point. And it's just good like that. There's little moments. There are dated bits in it because of the time it was done. There's sort of references to people on films and telly. I think Freddie Prinze Jr. and Shannon Elizabeth. But otherwise, it's exceptionally well drawn. The story is easy to follow. There's a bit of mystery in there with the Thor character. Is he a hero? Is he just a nut job? And they do something interesting with the Hulk as well. The Hulk is a proper monster in this. And he's hard to control. And they expand on that in another Ultimate sort of spin-off book called Ultimate Human, where you have Iron Man experimenting on the Hulk in order to try and test his limits, which is pretty cool, and I wish was a scene in the movies where they meet the Ultimate Leader as well, but I'll talk about that book separately. This, though, is an amazingly good value book. It feels wonderfully put together. It's got a nice sewn binding. It opens perfectly flat, zero gutter loss. Its pages are used fully, print right up to the edges. They feel of a good quality. You get extras in the back in the form of your sort of question and answer, sketchbook, scripts, all the usual stuff you'd expect. Oh, and you also, which is, I don't think I've seen this in an omnibus before, you also get a fold-out page as well. A massive fold-out page that goes on for 1, 2, 3, 4, for like 6 or 7 pages fold out, which I think is nice for them to include that as well, instead of sort of just condensing it down into a single double page spread. If you like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you want a different version of the Avengers that's a bit more grown up and easier to read, or you just want to understand what all this Ultimate stuff that people go on about every now and then is all about, you cannot go too far wrong buying this Omnibus while it's still about. It's beautifully put together, it's a great read, and the story is one that can sit on your shelf as a separate story, and you don't have to worry about having to get invested in the rest of the Ultimates universe if you don't want to. Although I would suggest, if you enjoy this, pick up Ultimate Human and pick up Ultimate Origins. Ultimate Origins gives you the background to the universe, and Ultimate Human is just a little continuation, side story to Tony Stark and the Hulk, and there's just some cool scenes in it. It's not the best, but it's just got some cool scenes in it, and if you like sort of sci-fi body horror stuff, it's quite good in that respect. I don't think there's any other areas to mention for the Ultimates universe. I mean, Ultimates 3, because this collects Ultimates 1 and Ultimates 2. Ultimates 3 is crap, everyone knows that. But look, let me know what you think about it. Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's totally dated now and really irrelevant? Otherwise, please feel free to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.